Well, that was a pretty damn good hunch yesterday on the video report, as I told you to go with the Dolphins as the big dog, and they went out right. I just wish I had followed my own hunch because instead, yesterday, I put my own money down on a 15-dime best bet that I released to everybody here at the site on the Toronto Raptors, who were a perfect 2-0 straight up and against the spread on the second of back-to-back nights and on an 18-7 run in such situations over the past couple of years. And what happens? They carry that nice winning streak into the Los Angeles Staples Center, and they lose outright to the injury-riddled Clippers. Yeah, should have followed my own hunch. Yesterday was not a great day for the handicappers. After a phenomenal Saturday, a phenomenal Sunday. Unfortunately, Chris Jordan, he was on the wrong side last night, but he can be forgiven after winning each of the previous 5 days and making you a fortune. He had the Patriots last night. Tommy Brunson, after that monster winner on Sunday night, cashing in with the Ravens. He was on the wrong side last night with Minnesota. The Golden Gophers just barely getting by Drake, not even coming close to covering, of course, as I think they were, my God, like a 20.5-point favorite last night in that contest. So, yeah, not a stellar performance, but my hunch paid off. Listen, the big play today, I would say, would happen to be Brad Wilton, who has won 6 out of 7 over the past 2 weeks and is coming off back-to-back weekend sweeps, going 2-0 Saturday and Sunday, each of the past 2 weekends. Today, 100-dime college blowout, his biggest college basketball release since coming back to the site on a part-time basis. Last Tuesday night, he had a 75-dime play. That was his biggest play prior to this one tonight, and it was on Syracuse over UConn. Tonight, a 100-dime play, which matches the 100-dime winner that you got on Sunday as he scored with Jacksonville. This one, he is 170 and 5 with 109 plays or higher in all sports, including a 4-0 sweep since returning to the site. And he says it's a college basketball blowout. You get it for over half price off by using coupon code BRAD. His first name and all the other discounts and etc. are over on the homepage. Quick little note. I was reading something here. I know it's not baseball season. We're not even close. Although when you think about it, in 2 months, pitchers and catchers will be reporting to spring training. Yeah, in 2 months. It'll be that time. Baseball winter meetings are in full swing. The Yankees are spending money like crazy. And I happened to read one of the stories coming out of the baseball winter meetings that the Angels, after the big acquisition, were going to be one of many teams that are considering going to 6-man rotations. You saw the Mets do it late last season. The Orioles do it for a time. The Phillies do it as well. And a number of teams are considering going that route. The Rangers did it last year as well, because you've seen such an influx of injuries. You've seen how minor leagues now, guys coming up, starting pitchers, the game has changed. Now it's become a specialty game where if you go 6 innings, you're turning it over to your bullpen. It's just become a game of give me 6. I'm going to turn it over to my riddle relievers. You've got the guys that are going to work the 6th or 7th, and then you got your 8th and your 9th guys. And every night you see the managers go through the routine. Doesn't even matter if the guy is carrying a shutout through 6 innings. If, the analytics say that the second time through the order is his best time, and the third time through is when opponents get to him. Boom. You saw the Dodgers do it repeatedly with Rich Hill, especially in the postseason. It's a numbers game. Baseball has changed. From a gambling perspective, and listen, I make a ton of money in baseball. It's the easiest sport to make. I love it. Go ahead. Because the key to winning in baseball is repetition and consistency. If you're taking out another one of those variables, right, and you're giving me an option where all I have to do when I'm handicapping the game is go, I just have to worry about that guy getting through 2 turns in the batting order, and I only have to look at a starting pitcher now going, I know he has to just work 6 innings. Can he do that? And then, okay, it's a little more work on my part because I've got to consider how effective is that middle relief for that bullpen? How effective is the 8th inning setup guy? How effective is the closer? Well, these are all variables that aren't really variables because it's based on consistent performance as opposed to, gee, Is that manager going to let that starter stay in just one batter too many? Is he going to let him try to work into the seventh inning? No. You're going to remove all those variables. Again, consistency and repetition. That's the beauty of baseball betting. Gotta love it. I hope more teams go to six-man rotations. It'll make it even easier to make money. But let's talk about college basketball tonight. It's an ugly card. I mean, listen, I'm going to talk about a game, Rutgers and Fordham here. And I've been on a red-hot roll in basketball with these complimentary plays. If I win this one, it's going to be a bigger hunch than last night's play on Miami. So let's talk about this particular game. This is a Rutgers team that's 7-2 at home against a Fordham team that's playing its first true road game. Now, as you know, I look at two significant stats. The RPI of teams, that's really a mathematical evaluation of strength and schedule. And I also look at the KenPom.com stats. So let's break them down first. In terms of KenPom, Rutgers has a ranking of 106th in the nation among 351 Division I teams. Fordham is 231, so that's your first tip-off right there. No pun intended for basketball. You know, and you have a Fordham team that's coming off a 76-68 home win over St. Francis of New York. Yeah, I don't know their nickname either, so don't ask me. You have a Rutgers team that's coming off a 73-64 win over New Jersey Tech. Now, they had lost their prior 3 games. Doesn't sound good when I say that, but consider that they gave Michigan State a run for their money before succumbing by 10 points to a far superior Spartans team. They lost by 22 at Minnesota. Minnesota, a big physical team that Rutgers wasn't going to be able to contend with. And then they lost by 5 at home to a pretty decent Florida State team. Now, that marred and put a blemish on a 6-0 start, but they didn't play anybody in that 6-0 start. I think the biggest thing in this particular contest is when you look at the front line for these two teams and how they go to the rack. Rutgers' rebound margin on the season, they are plus 9.7 boards per game. Fordham's rebound margin is minus 8.8. So you are looking at a rebound differential of over 18 boards a game. That is an amazing number. Listen, when I do these stats on a day-to-day basis and I'm breaking down games, rarely do I come down to a rebound margin differential that's more than maybe 7 or 8 most times when I'm handicapping games. I'm looking at 18. You don't have to be a genius to realize when you're looking at that big of a differential, when you're looking at a differential of 8 to 10, you got to realize that the team that has the advantage in terms of that differential is going to get more offensive rebounds, is going to get more second chance opportunities, and is going to be able to dominate the defensive and offensive boards. And that's why when I look at this line at minus 11 points, Rutgers playing at home, I'm willing to lay the points with the Scarlet Knights. And again, when I look at the strength of schedule, especially in the KenPom stats, 106 versus 231, that leads me to laying the points with the Scarlet Knights. Now, the only bit of trepidation I have is that does Rutgers get caught looking past Fordham to a big showdown with their in-state brethren, Seton Hall? Listen, Pirates 8-1 going into tonight's game against St. Pete at home. Elevated in yesterday's latest AP stats rankings to number 15 in the nation after they just come off back-to-back wins at Louisville and against Virginia Commonwealth because Rutgers hosts Seton Hall on Saturday. Do they get caught looking ahead to that game? I don't think so, especially after just beating New Jersey Tech, for Christ's sake, and having lost their 3 previous games. It's not like they're on a roll here, okay? So I think Rutgers takes care of business. They win this game somewhere in the 14-point margin. And Rutgers for Tuesday's hunch is the way I'm going to go. That'll do it, guys. Wish you well, and we'll do this again on Wednesday. Good luck, everyone.